Hey fam! I just wanted to mention at the top of the episode a content warning. In this episode, Cam and I do discuss child abuse and neglect. We don't go into full details, but the mention may be triggering for some viewers, so please be advised. When you get here, are you going to immediately buy your Disney ticket?
Yeah, well, soon. I'll probably buy it the day we go, that we decide to go, because then it starts from that day. I mean, yeah, because that's what I did last time with Sean. Just buy it the day we go, or the day before.
Okay. That's totes fine. We can totes do that. Hold on.
Yeah, just to get my money's worth. I mean, I don't know if I'm even going to stay the whole year, but just to get my money's worth.
You keep saying that, but you should really stay the whole year.
If you're saying it's for the company, shut your capitalist pig ass up.
Okay, we're making a whole podcast about Disney, so I don't want to hear anything about capitalism. I don't want to hear anything about giving it to the man.
True. Charging me $10 for a hot dog. How dare you, Disney?
Cameron, what are we talking about today?
Today, we're talking about the Disney classic Cinderella.
Cinderella! Cam, I have to say, this is one of my, literally it's in my top 5 favorite Disney princess films. I know that's a really weird thing to say because it's one of the older films that has like no actual action. It doesn't do anything. Nothing happens in this movie.
What do you mean? A lot happens. There's no fighting or sword buckling, but there's, stuff happens. Yeah, there's not a lot of action like you said. It's a love story. I'm even looking at the poster right now. It calls itself a love story with music. And that's what it is. It's not like an action drama. It's just a very sweet, timeless, classic love story that everybody knows. And it's just been told like time and time again. Disney was not the first to tell the story, although it is one of the most popular versions, and they're not going to be the last. There was that horrible version with Camila Cabello and the oh my god, who was the fairy god binary person?
Billy Porter.
Yeah, oh god, that movie was so bad. It was so bad.
Billy Porter. Okay, to be fair, Billy Porter was the person who saved that variation of the movie because honestly, that movie was a mess. That Cinderella was a jukebox musical. Yeah, it came out in 2021, last year. It came out last year. Oh my god, that's too brand new to be that bad.
It was so bad. Oh my god, it was just.
But you know what? It's really hard because there have been so many iterations of the film. You can only tell this story so many ways. And Disney,
right?
I don't know if Disney has like royalty rights on Cinderella, but they're the ones who make the most variations of this film. They're not the ones they're not competing with other people making this film. It is literally Disney competing against itself to make more variations of Cinderella. And then we get shit like did you see that one? There's that Cinderella. Okay, so I think we can fairly say A Cinderella Story with Hilary Duff is one of the most
one of the better ones.
Inspirational Cinderella films to ever come about.
And it's just full of gay icons. Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah.
Hilary Duff.
Oh my god. You get classic lines and legendary lines like, "Oh, that salmon all the way from Norwegia."
Yeah, that's definitely one of the more popular ones. That's a good movie. I love Hilary Duff.
That movie, that Cinderella Story, was a Disney film, and it sparked several other Disney films after that, starring Disney Mickey Mouse house characters, who are like people like Cinderella, who are people like Hilary Duff,
Selena Gomez,
and the second film starred Selena Gomez,
right,
which was a trash heap. It was a trash heap of a film because all it was the same story. But instead of a shoe, she lost her Zune, which, by the way, if you don't know what a Zune is...
Oh, my God. Those were popular for like 5 minutes.
It was a failed attempt. It was an early 2000s failed attempt at an iPod. And it was a terrible software system because it kept crashing.
And it just did everything an iPod did. Why would you get a Zune over an iPod if it just does everything an iPod does? You just want to be different?
I don't know. I don't know why Selena Gomez thought she was Cinderella material.
Yeah, Selena Gomez. There was a third one, wasn't there?
There was a third one.
I've only seen the first one, but I've seen like bits and pieces of the second and third. I'm like, this just looks like garbage.
Yeah.
You ain't Hilary Duff. You're never going to be Hilary Duff. You ain't never been Hilary Duff.
That movie was pretty great.
Who doesn't love Hilary Duff? She's like one of the few Disney child stars who just like... She's never been into any like controversy. She's never like gone crazy. She's never, as far as I can tell, she's never done anything controversial. She's never said anything bad.
Right. Super Christian.
Is she?
I think she is. I'm pretty sure she's like super Christian. I could be very wrong.
I don't think so. I mean, I remember like when Disney was talking about rebooting Lizzie McGuire, she was even like, let's put it on Hulu. Let's make it raunchier. Let's make it dirtier. Show Hillary, having sex and shit. No, that doesn't sound like very Christian to me.
Who said that?
Hilary Duff. And then they canceled it.
Because she was trying to be sexy? When was Hilary Duff trying to be sexy?
No, it was like, it was going to be on Disney Plus. They were planning a reboot. And then Hillary was like, we should make it more realistic. Talk about, the pros and cons, or the trials and tribulations of being an adult, in real life. And she was like, let's put it on Hulu instead. Maybe you can put more like, mature content. And then I don't think that's the reason why, but then the reboot fell through and they didn't go forward with it.
Do you mean of Lizzie McGuire?
Oh, yeah. What was I saying?
Oh, I thought you meant of Cinderella. I was like, how are they going to make a raunchy version of Cinderella?
No, Lizzie McGuire.
Oh my God.
Lizzie McGuire reboot. Call it Stripperella.
Lizzie McGuire. Hilary Duff did well. She did okay. We'll put that song in the past when her and her sister did the remake of the Siamese Cat song.
Oh, I didn't know she did
Remember that
that.
time in the early 2000s where all like these famous House of Mouse people were like remaking Disney classic songs?
Yeah, some of them are really good.
They were my jam. A Dream is a Wish was so good. Anything that Raven did was really good.
Or Reflection by Christina Aguilera.
I don't think Reflections counts. Reflections was like...
What do you mean?
Because it was part of a Disney movie. Like, it was its own thing. It came out with the Disney movie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but she didn't sing it in the song.
I mean, they took all the Disney classic songs and they remade them.
Oh, you may be right.
Maybe? I don't know. Everyone, okay, you want to hear something interesting? Everyone kept saying, like, and Christina Aguilera, too, she was like, I was part of the Disney House of Mouse cast. And I was like, when the fuck were you part of the Disney House of Mouse cast?
Was she?
Because...
I know Britney was, and Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, they keep saying that, too. When? When were they there? Did I miss something? Because we're the same age. No, that's a lie.
Well, I mean, House of Mouse was actually pretty old. Like, even... It showed them as kids. Like, when they were kids, they were in it. Like, I don't even remember when it was on TV. Like, I'm 30 years old. I don't even remember watching House of Mouse on TV. But I've seen clips of, like, Britney and JT dancing on, like, the House of Mouse stage wearing, like, House of Mouse shirts.
And I guess Christina was a part of that as well. I know she did Genie in a Bottle, but that had no relationship to, like...
What does that have to do with anything? Like, I
don't know.
Was that for the Aladdin movie? Was that for the Aladdin soundtrack?
Come on in, let me out. Anyway, there was a massive surge of Cinderella films that kind of swept the nation.
Wait, no. Real quick. It's not House of Mouse. They were part of the Mickey Mouse Club.
Mickey Mouse Club, sorry, whatever. All right.
No, not whatever. It's two different things. House of Mouse is like an animated show that they used to show.
I know.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really like the House of Mouse. I did. Disney's House of Villains. Did you ever watch that?
Yeah, that was good too.
Okay, that's besides the point. So Cinderella had a variety of iterations. Like I said, they're all Disney related and competing with each other. Even the one from ABC, which is my personal favorite iteration, starring Brandy and Whitney Houston.
Oh, that's such a good version.
Yeah, because it's an affiliation of ABC or NBC? ABC. It's an ABC.
I think it's ABC. Disney owned ABC.
Yeah. They probably own NBC too. Who the hell knows?
They own everything these days. Opulence.
So, either way, that variation was so beautiful, so iconic, so wonderful. We love it. We live for it.
That is such a good movie. And it was so ahead of its time because Whoopi Goldberg was the queen. Who was the, there was like, oh my God, what's his name? There was some old white dude who played the king.
Victor Garber played the king.
Yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg played the queen, and they had a Filipino son.
And no one questioned it. Nobody questioned it. And then he dates Cinderella, who's played by Brandy, who is black. And like,
Yeah.
it's okay. No one cares because it's a movie and they all fit the roles and they all killed it. And no one's like, oh, this has to be racially accurate, because no one cared because it was just so well done.
I remember when that movie first came out. I watched that movie maybe like, okay, so it came out live on ABC. I remember staying up late to watch it, and by late, my mom let us stay up past 7.
Past 7?
And I got to watch it.
Damn, how early did you guys go to bed? Jesus.
She was like, it's grown-up time now. Y'all got to go to bed. But she let us stay
7
up late
o'clock,
to watch
I'm pouring
it.
the wine, you're going to bed.
I watched it. I was in 2nd grade. Everyone was talking about it the next day. When I say everyone, it was mostly the girls. The boys didn't care, but I was like, yeah, I love it too. I want that dress. And so it aired a few more times after that in the same week because it was so popular. And all the while, I didn't think about once about the colorblind casting. Because I'm a child. I didn't really consider like
Yeah, me too. I didn't even think about it. It was not even an issue in my head. I just thought I loved Whoopi. She was really big at the time. I love Whoopi. I love Brandy. I used to watch Moesha. Mo to the E to the, they were all,
Yeah.
It was just such a good movie. I still, every now and then I'll go on YouTube and I'll listen to Impossible and It's Possible, the duet by Brandy and Whitney Houston, because it's so good.
It is that whole soundtrack was such an incredible, and I know it's Rodgers and Hammerstein soundtrack, but they also included like other songs from other Roger and Hammerstein.
Is it Roger and Hammerstein?
They included other music from Roger and Hammerstein from their librettos. So they included music from like South Pacific. They did one song for Bernadette Peters, who played the stepmother.
Bernadette Peters, Broadway legend.
Who sang Falling in Love with Love, which was such a beautiful addition. They also added lines for the Stepsisters' Lament, which was so good. They don't even put that part in the stage play. I don't know why, because it's that I love the Stepsisters' Lament. I love when they're just like walking around being like, I'm gonna rip her weave out, and it's so good. It's just the whole.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
I fucking love that movie. It's so campy. I love it so much. But with all of these Cinderella iterations that are out there now, I don't think people recognize how important Cinderella was to Walt Disney in terms of their business growth, in terms of their financial gains, and in terms specifically of...
in terms of their impending bankruptcy.
Right. And especially in terms of just the push forward for more animated films in theaters. Cinderella was such an important film for that. Cam, give us a synopsis of Cinderella.
Okay. So Cinderella is a 1950 American animated musical fantasy film produced by Walt Disney. It's based on the fairy tale of the same name by Charles Perrault, and it is the 12th Disney animated feature film. It was directed by Wilfred Jackson, Hamilton Luske, and Clyde Geronimi. Or Geronimo? I don't know how to say that word. And of course, it has the classic songs, which include Cinderella, A Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes, Oh Sing, Sweet Nightingale, The Work Song, Bippity Boppity Boo, and So This Is Love.
Okay, small secret. So when I'm out of like melatonin, I put this movie on and I fall asleep to it.
Are you saying it's boring?
No. Every time I put this movie on, it doesn't matter what time of day it is, I will 100% fall asleep to it. And I'm not saying that it's boring. I'm saying that I think that the melody of the music in the film is so relaxing, and it's so like hypnotic to me that I can't help but to like fall into a slumber. And I don't know why that is. It's not to say that I can't stay awake and watch it, especially if it's like midday. It's just literally late at night, if I need to go to sleep because I know I have like a meeting early in the morning the next day, I will put on Cinderella, and that will be the movie to fall asleep to.
I mean, there's just something very comforting about this movie, isn't it? Like, The color scheme is just very bright. Of course, there's the evil stepmom, but it's just a very feel-good movie. You know, it's just very bright. It's very colorful. You've got these cute talking animals. And of course, by now, everyone's seen the movie. You know she has a happy ending, and it's full of magic, and it's just a feel-good love story. I think it's just I can see why. It's a very comforting movie.
Indeed. And, you know, of course, this isn't... Although it's based off of the book by Charles Perrault, it's also like, this movie in particular is a mixture of both Perrault and the Brothers Grimm fairy tale. So it plays on the same like dark features of the books, but for the most part, unlike Snow White, this movie is a lot brighter.
And like you said, because like there's not like a lot of action, there's no dragon slaying, there's no killing an evil witch, you know, there's nothing like that. It's just the plot just moves along very organically. And yes, there's some magic, but a lot of it comes from I don't know. I was gonna say it comes from Cinderella herself, but she doesn't really do much. She's just kind of there. She gets very lucky.
Yo, this movie, okay. Let's go from the top because I want to break down this movie in the perfect way possible because this movie does have a lot of beautiful artwork and this movie has like really iconic film cells that are going to be reused later on in other films as well. But
right, like the ball scene.
Yeah. This movie opens with the first time we ever see like the classic fairy tale book. And I loved this as a kid. I loved seeing that like I don't even know what it was. I think it was animated, this book, but it also looked so hyper realistic that I think it was just an actual book.
I don't think they had 3D back then. They definitely didn't have 3D animation back then.
I don't know. Maybe it was like a combination of like both an actual book and like animated splices. I don't know, but I love this fairy tale book because it runs as a track in a few other movies we'll see later on, but like I love that opening of the fairy tale book.
Yeah, it just really like sucks you in. You're now entering the world of a fairy tale. Like it just really sets the tone.
Yeah, and there's a whole setup to this like book scene because you can see like the background. It's like it's in some kind of royal setting, and they're gonna give you the story of this whoever we're gonna be talking about today. But they really want to set you up with knowing that this comes from a fairy tale.
I do too. And like I was saying, this is a comforting movie. Like with that beginning, it kind of feels like you're a kid again, you're getting tucked in, and someone's about to read you a little fairy tale story before bed. You know, and that's very comforting. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that.
And so we open that fairy tale book and we dive right in with a chateau in France. And in this chateau, there's a man who had a wife and the wife dies and he's like, I want my daughter to have everything. And so he decides that he needs to remarry because that's what she really needs. She needs another mother. And so who does he remarry?
Lady Tremaine.
That's right, Satan.
No, that's her cat.
And Lady Tremaine, who is voiced by I forgot her name, Eleanor Audley. Do you have the synopsis on the Wikipedia
you're right,
page?
Eleanor Audley. 10 points for Gryffindor.
Okay.
Oh wait, sorry, that's Warner Brothers.
Eleanor, who is, I don't even care. I love all my Disney princesses, I do, and I love all the voice actors that are behind them. But Eleanor Audley should be given like the queen of queen crowns because she's voiced some of the most I'm trying to find other words other than iconic because I was like going through the last I was going through the other podcasts and I was like, oh my god, I've been using iconic so many times, but there's no other way to describe Eleanor Audley because she is so iconic.
I mean, if the boot fits.
She gave life to this character who is meant to be... This character has no magic. This character has no, basically no social standing. This character has nothing.
She doesn't even have very many lines, and she still managed, with the lines she has, to make her terrifying. Sinister.
Those moments where she just attacks Cinderella with her words. They're so sharp. They're so direct. And it makes so much sense that she also voiced Maleficent in Sleeping Beauty, which we're going to talk about next, which is why she deserves so many awards for so many things because she is just so good. She's so good at voice acting, and she is like a person that I look up to for voice acting because she provides she provides such variation in tones of her voice that like give you the feel of being there. And so I want to respect also the animators who made Lady Tremaine, because they were also focusing on Lady Tremaine being as hyper realistic as possible, right? They designed her to look real.
Oh, they did.
Like a real person, and that's why she looked scary in a Disney film, because everyone else didn't look real. She was the one who looked as real as a person, and that's why like it was unsettling and it was uncomfortable. And then on top of that, the voice acting of Miss Audley was just so
perfect. Just on point.
It was so good. It was so good.
You know what? I'm looking at her picture right now. She kind of looks like Lady Tremaine. Eleanor Audley kind of looks like Lady Tremaine. I'm looking at a picture of her right now in the Beverly Hillbillies 1962. She kind of looks like Lady Tremaine.
Yes.
Like at that point in her life, she kind of looked like her.
That's what the filmmakers and the animators were saying in interviews. They wanted to make Lady Tremaine look as human as possible, so they wanted to step away from like this animated Disney look, and that way they can make that unsettling feature be more uncomfortable for the viewer. It was so interesting to see that, because she's scary as fuck. She's scary as fuck.
There's one scene that's like ingrained in my mind. I think she's in her bed petting her cat, and her face is in the shadows, and all you can see are her eyes poking through the darkness. And that scene is just engraved to me because those eyes are just so piercing.
Yeah. There's a couple of scenes where like those eyes they blaze right through the darkness.
Also, fun fact, Eleanor Audley also does the voice of Madame Leota in the Haunted Mansion ride. The little crystal ball head.
Oh my god. She's so
just everywhere.
Good. She's so good. Okay. So they open with an old house and chateau, and we meet Lady Tremaine and her two lovely stepdaughters, Anastasia and Priscilla.
Yeah, back to the movie. We're like 30 minutes into this podcast. We're just still at the very beginning. I love it.
Okay, we can do this.
We've just got a lot to say. No, I love it. We've just got so much to say.
To be fair, we're almost done. Okay, so
Are we? We're just starting.
Nothing happens in this movie. So we meet Lady Tremaine and her stepdaughters, and they're like really terrible people.
Anastasia and Drizella.
We learn a little bit about Cinderella because she's living in squalor. Her name used to be Ella, and they were just like, nope, your name's not that anymore. And so they've basically turned her into a slave in her own home, which, is #goals. So Cinderella has to get up every morning and make them breakfast after cleaning the house, and she goes downstairs to make them tea, and there's a whole segment. Now this is the first movie where like the animals have a voice, because we didn't get that in Snow White. Snow White didn't have like...
Well, does what about oh my god, Pinocchio, the little grasshopper, Jiminy Cricket, doesn't he count?
Yeah. We get animated animals. I'm talking specifically in terms of like the princess films, because a lot of the princesses kind of controlled the animals with how beautiful they were, whereas like Cinderella was just trying to show like how gentle and lovely she was by feeding and clothing wild rodents. You know what? Let's talk about pretty privilege for a second.
Pretty privilege.
This movie exudes pretty privilege. For those who are unfamiliar, pretty privilege is the ability to attain certain things with being mediocre in personality, but because society has deemed you a certain level of attractive, you can get away with things. You see this all the time, like on YouTube, like people doing like nothing, and they're like, oh, I've got 1 million followers. I'm like, how do you get 1 million followers? Like, who are you? No one knows who you are. And then all they do is like eat an apple. So Cinderella's out here clothing rats off the side of the street, which is in medieval times, let me just say, that's how plagues start. And for some odd reason, she's able to end this movie with a husband who's a prince. There's no goddamn way. If you saw someone playing with rats, you'd be like, that's the person I'm gonna marry. That is the person who I'm gonna like live and spend the rest of my life with.
What if it was no, like the person playing? What if it was like Chris Hemsworth, like playing with rats, and he's like, "Hey, you want to go on a date?" I'm like, "Yeah, bring the rats with you. I don't care. It can be double date. Double date with the rats. I don't give a shit."
Well, that's pretty privilege, isn't it, Cam? Chris Helmsworth is pretty, he's tall, and he's a white man. So he could literally be covered in fecal matter and the plague, and people will still follow him on TikTok.
What did these rats do to you? What rat hurt you?
It's just so gross.
Rats are actually very smart.
I have no problems with mice and rats.
Smart.
I just also am a person that does not play with wild rodents and like wild pigeons on the side of the street. You know, that's not me. That's not a person that I would do. I won't like catch to kill, but I'll definitely like say, you can't, sorry, Mr. Rat, you can't be in this house. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they're helping me do my chores, like they're gonna be washing my dishes, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna get you a bed. You know, you guys gonna get you some house slippers.
No, they don't help with that. They don't help with the chores. They like Cinderella protects them, which is okay, her choice, her decision. But they don't help with the chores. The only time they actually like physically do anything is when they build her a dress, which, you know, in my line of work, I would not mind. That would be perfect. If I didn't have to teach any rats how to build a dress, I'd be like, fine, go for it. You can live here. I'll just make sure you're well fed. Just don't bring any diseases back into the house. We'd be okay with that.
There you go. Free labor. Just got to give them some food every now and then. Give them a bed to sleep in.
Either way, the mice are important. They do provide comedic relief.
You're right. They don't do her chores and stuff. But like she's very lonely, and they do provide her with like friendship and kindness and like physical interaction that she wouldn't get with anyone else.
Yeah. I want to say, I know we're jumping all around the place, but I want to say something really special about the sisters, Anastasia and Gisela.
Yeah.
When we talked about the evil queen in the last movie, we talked about the transformation scene where we introduce like that green and purple mist that kind of surrounds the evil queen in her transformation. Every Disney movie after that transformation included that lime green mist transformation and some kind of purple on a Disney villain. Mm-hmm. This is the first film after Snow White that reintroduced that. And what we get is those purples and those greens surrounding the evil in the form of humans.
Yeah.
Because Anastasia is wearing her pink and purple dress while Gisela is wearing her lime green dress. These aren't colors that are found within the time period of France. So that's such a brilliant way to portray villainry.
Yeah, that's nice. Because there's not like a physical like smoke or a haze around the villain of the movie, who is the evil stepmother. But these girls, her daughters, they're always walking behind her, doing everything she does, doing everything she says. They're always together. So in that sense, they're still like, she's still surrounded by that green and purple, which in Disney makes the villain.
I love that so much. I love it so much. And I think it's such a brilliant way to incorporate that into like the evilness of a character without like being too overt. Because afterwards, we're going to see it in the forms of like either purple skin with Ursula or we're going to see it with Scar as he walks through like a burning pit.
Yes,
you know, we're going to see
everywhere.
those colors again.
Or Maleficent, which we're going to talk about in the next review.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that is such a brilliant way to do that. This movie really did save Disney's ass.
They are on brand. They know what they're doing.
They are on brand.
Okay. All right. So the king shows up into the city, the town hall or whatever, and he says that the prince is going to have a ball, a royal ball, and that all the women and all the men in the land are invited. Poor, rich, it doesn't matter. Everyone's invited. So the evil stepmom is like, ooh, now's my chance to get married into royalty. I'm going to have the prince fall in love with my beautiful daughters. And Cinderella's like, oh, I want to go too. You know, he said anyone can come. And she doesn't want to go to, like, you know, meet the prince. She just wants to go have fun, have a good time. Her life is not good. She's always working.
Yeah.
She's like, girls just want to have fun. And of course, her evil stepmom, being the way she is, she's like, no, you're not going because you might upstage my daughters. Because they know she's pretty. Everyone knows she's pretty. Even covered in cinder, even in an apron, even, working. Everyone knows she's pretty. And they won't tell her. I don't think she knows.
Everyone knows she's beautiful.
But everyone else knows.
But you have to remember, because the stepmother never says, you can't go. She says, if you complete your chores, then you can go. And the daughters are like, Ma, are you crazy? No. She can't be going looking like that with all those cinders on her face. And the mom's like, no. I said, if. And and that was the day I learned about wordplay. So that's really important because they give her a bunch of chores to try and do to clean up before she even has a chance to fix up her dress.
Like so many. Because they think she's not going to be able to finish.
But like we said, the mice, do their best part, give back by making a dress for her, which is cute. It's fine. It's enough to go where she needs to go to the ball. But they do it by stealing scraps from the stepsisters, and then the stepsisters see that when she comes down the stairs.
Oh wait! Don't forget! The dress belongs to her late mother. It's an old dress of her late mom, so it's very special to her. It means a lot to her. And it is a little old and busted. So while she's working, the animal's just like, we're gonna fix this up for her, make it nice. And she's like, cool, I can take a little piece of my mom with me to the ball.
Oh yeah, that's cute.
Which makes this next scene even more horrible.
Yeah. Where the daughters are like, this dress is terrible and ugly, and the stepmom's like, I don't know.
Wait. No, let me set the mood. Cinderella's walking down the stairs, and she's like, I'm ready to go to the ball with you guys. And they're flabbergasted because they didn't think she was going to finish her work. And then, like you said, they start to think, this dress doesn't look finished. What do you girls think? And they're like, oh, I see what you're getting at, Mom. They catch on. They're like, yeah, there's a little tear here. And they rip one of the sleeves off and then just go at it.
No, they don't just, they maul that poor girl. They go in. They attack, they shred, they rip off pearls. And then at the very end, Lady Tremaine is like, all right, girls, that's enough. And they just waltz out of the house.
It's just another day in the Tremaine house. All right, girls, well done. They just leave.
Which is so rude.
Rude is an understatement.
To add insult to injury, Lady Tremaine is just like, well, I'll see you next time. Bye. And it's just peace out, and closes the door. And Cinderella runs away to her garden and starts weeping in the middle of a garden because that's all you can do after someone.
What would you do? Yeah, what would you do after that? There's nothing to do. I would be crying too. That's so. I'd probably pack a bag and get ready to run away because that's just messed up. Especially because it belonged to
sad.
My late mom. I'm like, that's a messed up.
That is really sad. I feel bad for her, but I just what were you expecting? What were you expecting was gonna happen? Because
right, she knows these people better than anyone.
Even if they let her come with her, even if they said you can go to the ball, do you think they would have been like, oh, you can also ride with us?
No. No, absolutely. They're we can't be seen with you. The help? I don't think so.
They would have been like, you need to call an Uber, girl.
Yeah, call an Uber.
You need to call an Uber. You can't get
call
in the same cart with us.
You can't sit with us.
Yeah, that wasn't going to happen. That wasn't in her cards.
Right? What was she thinking? She knows better. She knows better.
I don't know. Did she know better? I don't think she knew anything. Because every time...
I don't know.
Every time they tore her down, she was just like, they'll be better next time. Girl, they're not going to be better next time.
Just got to have courage and be kind.
Which is why I appreciated other variations of the movie, because in a lot of them she was like, I'm going to run away today. Today's the day I have to get out of here and never come back.
Literally what I was going to say, why has she not run away by now? Your dad's dead. You know, and these people, he died pretty recently after marrying her. And I'd be like, why are you with them?
Look, hold on, wait. Let's not sugarcoat this, okay? Cinderella was in a visibly abusive household. And time again, we come across the question, why don't they just leave? Well, in terms of domestic violence and in terms of child abuse and neglect, Cinderella was groomed at a very young age to accept this as the norm. And even though she was like 19, she was very much like unaware of how to remove herself from the situation. You can't remove yourself from this situation, especially when you're a child. It's ridiculous. It's not in her own control. You know, like many children in her situation, she is not able to take control, because how does one take control from the persons that are meant to protect you? I mean, probs not in the case of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, but, you know, some sort of way, you know what I mean? So from the adult perspective, we see these fucking signs, and we should say as an adult, no, hold on, wait. Well, you know, wait. I should say it. We see it as an adult in 2022 and not as an adult in 1700s France. You know, that being said, you know, her father is dead and she is of age and she has no promise to remain in this house. And legally, as an adult, I mean, I guess at her age, in this time period, she's kind of way out of the aged range of marriage. But, you know, she's older. She has the potential to get out of there, I presume, I don't know.
Like, they're not your real family. They mean nothing to you. They're freaking horrible. Like, I know she's a teenager, she has no money, but I would steal something. Steal some fine china, steal some silver, steal a horse, and then just ride off and never come back.
Steal some silverware and take all of the horses that because she takes care of the animals. It's not like they'll follow like Lady Tremaine.
Literally. I would have ran away. I would have taken some dresses and sold those. I would have just taken whatever I could get and ran.
And once again, I'm not trying to blame the victim here.
I am.
But I am saying that, like... That's why I really liked the Brandy version, because Brandy wasn't playing any of those games. Nope. She was like, no. Now's not the time. I'm out of here, girl. This is not where I need to be. She packed a bag and everything, and she was like heading out. No. And this is where we finally like see Cinderella's hope and guiding light. Her fairy godmother appears in the middle of a garden.
Yes, her fairy godmother shows up dressed in this nice, cute little blue gown with a hood. You know, she's a little older. She's a little seasoned. She's like, "Hi, dear. I'm your fairy godmother."
And we get our legendary Bippity Boppity
Boo song. It's such a classic song. It's just a fun, silly, happy song. You know, it just fills you with bubbles.
Yeah, this feels one of those, like, Disney trope where they make songs.
Make up words.
They make songs out of words that mean nothing.
Yes. Like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Exactly. Yeah. They just make up these nonsensical words. But that's just very on brand, you know? These silly words that don't mean anything. Yeah. And they just have this sense of, like, whimsy to them.
And that's beautiful. That's such a good... It's such a good feeling, because when you get those like songs that really are branded as their own, they kind of take on a life of their own, and people use that across the board for a myriad of things. You know, people say bippity boppity boo in like things that aren't Disney related, but we all associate it back with this Disney movie. They really have started making a mark on society at this point.
Yeah, it's just so ingrained into culture.
And so our fairy godmother does the best she can. She turns her mice into horsemen mice into horses, horses into footmen, and pumpkins into carriages.
Wait, mice into horses and horses into footmen?
Yeah.
So she already had horses, and she was like, I'm not going to use these.
Girl, there's nothing practical. There's nothing practical in this movie. Not a single goddamn thing in this movie is practical.
No. Wait a minute. I don't think that's right. Oh, wait. You're right. You are right. Yeah. I think it was old. I think it was like an old horse.
It doesn't matter. She could have made it a young horse for the night. Like, I don't... He has the skill sets. He knows what's going on. You think he's going to be better at, like, managing other horses?
He might be. He has more... He's got more experience. Seniority, bitch.
That's his, like...
Right.
Either way... we continue impracticalities with giving Cinderella glass footwear.
Wait, hold up. I want to make it clear. Okay, she transforms Jack, Gus, two other mice into 4 white horses. She turns a pumpkin into a coach, the famous pumpkin coach. Cinderella's old horse, whose name is Major, I just found out, and bloodhound Bruno into a coachman and a footman. And then she gives her The fairy godmother gives Cinderella a beautiful ball gown and, of course, glass slippers. Those cannot be comfortable.
No.
Glass.
Girl, they did not even have Dr. Scholl's, all right? Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
You would see them through the glass.
Footwear.
They would not be cute.
You got to catch my ass on a day when I am wearing impractical footwear, and you know for a fact I'm not going to be wearing impractical footwear for like walking, let alone dancing. I would never go out to a club and be like, I'm gonna wear like these flats without any like foot supports. No. That glass shoes? Who,
like what?
Who dances in a glass
that cannot
shoe?
be comfortable. That cannot be comfortable at all. Like, at least put like a red bottom on it or something. I don't know. Like, make it look somewhat fancy. Put a red bottom inside, like for some padding. I just don't know. I don't know how her feet. I don't know how they weren't like red with blood by the end of the night. Because my feet would have been messed up.
I don't know, and I don't understand. Because it's not even on top of that. She's wearing. This is a time period where ball gowns were the fad for like going out to dancing, right? So like. Mm-hmm. Ball gowns are heavy. So this tiny little woman, this waif of a woman, is already donning like 40 pounds extra. And then she has to dance on that on top of like a fragile glass shoe.
On glass
Because this
slippers.
thing fell and it broke. And all I'm thinking is like, she is dancing on marble. She is walking down staircases. I literally drop my iPhone like 5 times a day. And I cannot imagine stomping my fat ass around in a glass shoe. Let alone, not even a glass, it's a high heel. She gives her a high heel and is like, girl, go out there and dance it up. And I just cannot imagine. I cannot imagine anything so ridiculous. Because in the Brothers Grimm fairy tale, it's not even like a glass shoe. I think it's like a gold shoe or something.
Oh yeah, because like in I think you're right. Because in Into the Woods, which is also by Disney, the Cinderella in that movie, she has a gold slipper, like a gold shoe.
Who the hell knows? I don't. Well, they were trying to make it seem like she is.
I don't know. Like, I can put up with like talking animals. I can put up with this random fairy godmother who does magic, but I'm like, glass slipper. That's where I draw the line. Do better, Disney.
Yeah. Either way, the fairy godmother gives her curfew.
Yes, she warns her that the magic will end on the stroke of midnight. She gives her a curfew. She's like, you can go out just this once. I know you haven't been out in like 15 years, but you got to be home by midnight. Why? I don't know. Plot development.
I have no idea.
I don't know why. She has all this magic, but they're like, oh, it wears off at midnight.
You know, after midnight, that's when the club starts getting good. And Cinderella's too innocent to experience like what's going on in the club after midnight.
Yeah, people don't show up till like 11.
She did. She sent her away really late too. She was like, "It's 11:30. You got to be back in 30 minutes."
You can just. It's enough for a taste.
She sends her away, but Cinderella goes in, and she is the belle of the ball because she doesn't say a word, and the prince just starts dancing with her, and that's why the prince is enamored with her.
Right. So she's not recognized by anyone, and in different variations, it's because the fairy godmother cast a spell on her to shield her personality, to shield her identity. But in this movie, she just goes as is and no one recognizes her. But the stepmom kind of sees her and she's like, something's off about this bitch. Like I something's familiar. She doesn't recognize her, but she's like, I feel like I've seen her before.
Yeah. Because otherwise, this isn't, I don't know, they pull the greatest Clark Kent super trick, and she's like...
She just put on some glasses. She's like, no.
She's like, suddenly, she's like, I'm wearing my hair up, and suddenly I'm a different person. Although, I want to say, I did see a picture of Zooey Deschanel without her bangs, and I get it. I actually get it. I
what
understand.
What do you mean? What did she look like?
Yeah, have you ever seen Zooey Deschanel without her bangs?
Never. Do I want to?
She is... not Zooey Deschanel. She is.
Do I want to?
I was looking at this picture for a very long time, and I was like, "Who the hell is this?"
I don't know if I want to. It makes me kind of nervous.
Like Zooey Deschanel.
Okay, I'm looking it up right now, and it's literally like autotype. It's like the fourth Search just Zoe Deschanel without bangs. Oh my god. Yeah, she looks like she looks older, more mature.
That is not
Yeah, I
Zoe
don't like
Deschanel, is it? That looks nothing
Don't
like her.
it. No. It looks so weird.
That is hilarious to me. Because, this is what Cinderella has. She has her... Whatever magic is coating her is allowing her to live freely until midnight.
Living her best life.
And, looking at this from the adult perspective. Cinderella is at a ball. She is enamored with this man. And she is just waltzing around with him for God knows how long. And she just kind of like... They sing the classic song... So this is love. Mm-hmm.
That's also a very beautiful love song.
I love that song. I think it's gorgeous. I might play it at my wedding. We'll see what happens.
It's very romantic. It's from a different time. It's just very beautiful.
It's very beautiful.
It's very beautiful.
And
they're not just waltzing. They're waltzing in front of everyone. They cleared the dance floor.
Yeah.
They're like, everybody move, step aside. We're going to dance and you're going to watch. And they did.
That would make everyone bitter. They were just like, oh, he found his girl.
Oh, they were bitter.
Bitter. That's that moment where you're like, I got to give up. This person's not going to buy me a drink. He's definitely like eyeing this other girl across the room. It's not worth it.
She shows up late, looking better than everybody, and then immediately gets to dance the prince. They're bitter.
Which... I can see why this can warp perspectives for people who are, who grew up with Disney. Because I know when I go out to the club, I try to look my Cinderella best. I want to make sure that I peacock the right way and people look at me when I enter a room like that. That's why I like to go to clubs specifically with a downward staircase so that I can walk slowly down them and look across the room and gaze upon everyone and be like, oh, yes, I'm here. And then continue walking down.
Usually when you enter a club, you're in drag and you're bearded. So I think most people are looking at you.
Well, yeah.
You're usually the only bearded drag queen in the room. So I think people are looking. Kind of hard to miss.
But I still want to remain like attainable,
You want to bask in the attention.
That's my goal. It's fine. But, I know you do that.
It can
too.
also
when you go into.
I like attention. Who doesn't? Like everyone likes a little attention every now and then. I like to be looked at. I don't mind it. Yeah. I spend all this time showering and getting ready and putting on some cologne. I want to be looked at.
What's great about her is while she's dancing, no one knows it's her. No one knows it's her.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know it's the prince.
Yeah.
So she's just dancing with this guy that she first met at a club, which is, like your best friend going to a club for the first time, dancing with whatever guy she meets. And she's like, all right, I'm going to let her have her fun. Just want to make sure he doesn't put anything in her drink. So I'm going to stay close to her. And that's what Lady Tremaine isn't doing that. She's just making sure. She's like, this bitch ruining all my plans.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the whole thing. That was like Cinderella never had any intentions. She just wanted to go have fun, have a good time, like take a break from a horrible life. She never wanted to upstage anyone. She never wanted to she wasn't trying to marry someone for their money or royalty. She was just like, I just want to have a good time. That was it. I just want to go have a good time with my girls, be up at the club, be seen.
And
that's what she did.
She did. She #girls wanted to have fun. And
and she had her fun.
She waltzed around. She walked in that garden, which is kind of cute. I really like that. And in the garden, she leans over to kiss this man that she still hasn't asked his name.
Who needs a name? I've kissed guys whose names I don't know before.
Yes. Okay. So looking at this from the adult perspective,
you don't need a name.
There are many a times where I did not know someone's name for a very long period of time while I was dancing with them, and after I've already made out with them, and you've kind of done a bunch of things on the dance floor.
What's in a name if a rose by any other name would taste just as sweet?
Or a dick. And so
that too. Flesh.
I mean, who hasn't done a little blowy in the bathroom before you got their name? And so meeting, I don't know if I should put that in the podcast. My mom is going to listen to this.
Oh, she must be so proud.
I didn't even think this through.
Disney's never going to sponsor this. We're going to get a cease and desist.
It's fine. I said it before. I marked this as explicit. And so
as they're about to kiss, I forgot, do they kiss or they're about to kiss? I think they're about to kiss.
they're about to kiss. They don't get to the kiss yet.
And then the clock goes ding.
I'm not judging Cinderella or the prince for not knowing each other's names or not knowing.
I mean, this was like very early Europe. People were marrying at like 14 because their
Right.
life expectancy was like their life expectancy was like 25. Okay, and they were marrying their cousins, trying to keep it in the family. Like,
Right.
It was a different time.
Right.
Like you said, there was rats and the Black Plague going around. Okay, people were not expected to live long.
In that time, for sure, I would expect like someone to like get my name and probably my family history before we had like a full conversation. But today, I
To
could
make sure you're not related, or I don't know, make sure you are related if you want to keep the family name. People married their cousins back then. It was common.
How inbred are you? Hashtag the queen. So I'm judging based on their time period, but based on like today's standards, I can't judge her at all because I feel like a lot of us flirt before we get to a certain point of asking names and asking like other things. Because even if you ask someone's name when you're at a club, if you're not feeling them, you give them an alias, right? Am I wrong? Is it just me?
No, that's very.
Am I the only one who's
sometimes
Tino Lohamaki? Just me? Okay.
Well, yeah, you're the only one that's that name. Yes, yeah. Sometimes I'm Ted. I've been a Jamie before. You know, just whatever pops into my mind.
Okay, moving on. It's midnight, and she's like, "Oh, girl, I gotta go. I gotta go." She's got the rumblies and her tumblies, run into the bathroom like diarrhea, and she books it in her glass shoes, running across marble pavement, upstairs, downstairs, to the left of stairs, and she's running down the stairs, and she drops a shoe. Because for some odd reason, the perfect welded glass shoe doesn't seem to fit her properly.
Right? It's just her size, but as she's running, it falls off.
Yeah.
Another thing that doesn't make sense, but okay.
Because the shoe is too big for her, which I want to get to in a second. I'll tell you exactly the information I found about Cinderella's shoe.
Okay.
And the
Please.
Disney information
Educate
about
the
her shoe.
children.
Because it's wild. It is.
Maybe
fucking
her feet were
insane.
sweaty from like dancing so much, you know? She wasn't wearing any socks.
And honestly, if you're running across, you're wearing a big ball gown, I wouldn't even wear shoes. When I'm wearing gowns for work, I'm not wearing shoes underneath. No one's seeing my shoes.
Yeah, you ever see people do like the walk of shame home after a long night out? They're carrying their shoes in their hand.
Well,
They don't wear them as they're walking home.
well, we see that because Cinderella hops aboard her carriage, and as she's like riding through as she's like running out of the castle, this is the most action that happens in the movie. There's a point where she is trying to book it out of that castle, and everyone is like trying to keep her locked in this castle. If I was a woman, that would be the scariest thing that is happening to me.
That would be too. I'm like, you're not letting me leave?
Yeah, they're trying to keep me locked in this castle against my will when I'm telling you I have to go. She has firmly stated
Yes.
no. She has firmly said, no, I have to go.
She is not given consent. She has said no, I need to leave. And they're like, nah, you're going to stay.
Oh my god! Oh
Like,
my god!
literally, it's a little.
And it wasn't.
That's a little
and
terrifying.
this is where like everything in the animation turns dark, and like the sentry guards look like these gargoyles, and they're like there's thunder and everything, and then there's flashes of light, and she is just trying to get out of there as quickly as possible. They try to close the gate on her car, which is her carriage.
Literally, like, what is the big deal? Like, I know he's the prince and whatever, but no means no, and the hashtag consent. If she says she wants to go, you'd let her go.
They were not. Oh my god, that was terrifying. That's terrifying because this is the person she's supposed to be like for, and this is the person that's like.
This is the person she just like shared a very like intimate moment with. And she's like thinking, oh, he's so sweet. He's so charming. He's so handsome. They're about to kiss. And then now he's like, you're not going anywhere.
He's like, I didn't get my kiss from you. You better stay. I was like, oh, right? No, girl, get out of there. And while she's getting back, we get the physical embodiment of the walk of shame because she turns from like...
Everything starts to revert back to its like natural form. The horses turn back into rats. The coachman turned back into horses. You know, they already had horses. I don't know why they need to turn the rats into horses. And then the carriage.
And all I could think to myself is like, how on earth is she going to get back home? I mean, I guess
true,
they can ride the old horse, but like...
I didn't think of that. Yeah, she probably just rode the old horse. But okay, her dress also disappears, right?
Yeah, and it turns back into that tattered mess.
Okay, why did the shoes not disappear?
I don't know. I just remember that one scene where she sees that final shoe on her foot, and she's just like, she's thanking her fairy godmother as if it's like a gift to her.
Well, it's like a memento of her wonderful night, except for the part where they tried to trap her in the castle.
Yeah.
She's like, "Aw." But I don't understand, if the magic wore off, why did the shoes also not wear off or disappear?
I don't know. Maybe because they were like separated and they had to be together or something. Or maybe like that was the fairy godmother's like, it was like a gift bag.
Gift,
You know how you get to keep one thing at the end?
Because when you go to the party, you get a gift. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe because like all the other stuff was something else turned into something, and this was just something the fairy godmother like made out of thin air, and she just like made it.
I guess that's actually a really good theory. That's actually that's a very good thought.
It's possible. Who knows? Like, you know, we're trying to make sense of a movie where there's talking animals. You know, anything is possible.
It could also have been like, you know, the fairy godmother made this shoe and was like, I can reuse everything else, but I can't reuse these shoes because you're the only one who can fit into them. So there's no point to like...
Just keep it. Plus, I wouldn't want someone's like stinky, smelly glass shoe after a night out. No, thank you. Well, it depends on who's wearing it.
Well, Bujerdao, I hope... I mean, I'm glad she kept her shoe because it really does help her later on when the king makes an official declaration or an announcement, or the prince makes an announcement that he is looking for the girl he met last night at the ball. And everyone is like up in arms. They're like, oh my God, we got to find out who this chick is. And Lady Tremaine's like, oh, it could be one of you two. And then Cinderella's like in awe because she's like, oh my God, I was dancing with the prince? I thought he was just some cute guy at the bar. And so when that happens, that's when we get that dark glow and those glowing green eyes. And Lady Tremaine's
the
like,
eyes.
hold up.
The dark, scary eyes.
I know she ain't who she thinks she is. And Lady Tremaine finally recognizes, it breaks through the veil, and she finally recognizes that it was Cinderella at the ball. And she follows her up to her room while Cinderella's like in a stupor, being like, oh my God, I gotta get ready. I'm just so like in awe about how wonderful this is.
Oh, wait. No, it's because the way she figured it out is because Cinderella was in her room and she was humming the song that they danced to at the ball. And so Lady Tremaine realizes, like, how would she know that song unless she was there? And she puts it together, and she's like, this bitch was at the ball dancing with the prince.
And so she locks her in that tower. I say the tower, the attic? I don't know. She locks her in the highest room in the house.
Yeah, the attic in the tower. You know, I don't know.
That's how I'm going to treat people I hate. If you come over to stay with me, you're gonna stay in the tallest room in the house because I ain't walking upstairs.
Lock him in an attic.
She locks her in her room
because the prince had announced he's gonna go to every single house in the land, and every woman is gonna try on this shoe because he's trying to find out who it belongs to. And Lady Tremaine's like, you ain't gonna try on that shoe. I know it fits. So she locks her up.
So this is the point in the movie where I have a couple of questions. One, I think this was one of the scariest moments in the movie for me because I think we connected a lot with the rodents, like Jack and Gus and everyone else.
I love Gus. Can we just talk about Gus? How cute he is.
Gus is so
He's
cute.
just so round
Gus
and giggly and like funny, and he loves to eat. I'm like, I relate. That would be so. You know what? That would be a cute Disney bound Jack and Gus. That would be so cute because it's so easy too. They're
that would
so
be
simple.
So cute. Can I be Gus? Because I
For sure.
already got the shape.
I mean, you and me both, but I guess I can suck it in and be Jack.
And the hat. That'd be so cute.
It's so cute.
Oh, that would actually be really cute. Yeah,
right?
Let's do that Disney bound. I'm adding that to the list, actually. So this is one of the scarier scenes for me because, like, there's so much high stakes here, and they go through hell and high water to get this key. And it's weird to me because where are all the other animals? Why don't they, like, swoop in and start, like, saving Snow White?
Snow White?
The animals did. Why don't
Wrong
they,
movie.
Cinderella. Why don't they come in and swoop in and save Cinderella like they did for Snow White, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, the animals came and, like, stormed and swooped around. And so some of these animals only work for, like, dressmaking, and some of them are, like, more tactful, and they're like, we're gonna steal a key today.
Maybe it was their day off. Maybe they were tired. They made a dress. Like, they got a rest too.
Well, they had to work fast, I guess, and the house is really
Yeah.
big, so I guess they couldn't find their
And they're
animal
very
friends.
tiny.
But they had to go steal that key. And that key stealing scene was one of the scenes that, like, had my heart pumping throughout the whole thing. I was just kind of like, oh my god, something's gonna happen. Something's
Are they
going
going to do
down.
it? Are they not? Finally, some action.
Because something was going down. Something was happening. There was just so much they had to do.
Yeah, it was the climax of the movie.
And there's this one moment where they make it to the top of the stairs, and then Gus looks up and then sees more stairs, and he passes out. And I have been in that situation where you think you've made it to the top flight of the stairs, where you're like, oh my god, I'm almost there. I'm almost to, like, the 7th floor. And then you look and there's like 20 more flights, and you're like, how the hell is that possible? How the hell? I have felt that in my soul when I have seen flights of stairs, and I was just like, I cannot today. Not today. Why is there no elevator in this place? I don't understand this. They had to lift that key all the way up to the top.
Welcome to China. Oh my god. There's so many buildings here in China. There's so many buildings that don't have elevators, and I'm like, is this legal? Especially the older buildings. I've been to, like, a few Airbnbs. They're like on the 7th floor, 8th floor, and you have to walk all the way up. And I'm like, this does not feel right.
It is legal because in China, and especially in Shanghai, there's the 6-story rule, which means all buildings under 6 or 7 stories don't need an elevator. They are.
I didn't know that was the law.
They are, by law, they don't need an elevator. Anything above 7 stories needs an elevator. There are so many schools, and there are so many, like, residential buildings here that just don't have elevators. And there's some places like that in New York. Well, there's some places like that in New York because the elevator just never fucking works. But, like...
I mean, I can understand, like, the older buildings. You know, in Shanghai and, like, all of China, there's a lot of older buildings that were built a long time ago before we had, like, laws and regulations, and we were more aware of people who have disabilities who can't use stairs. So I can understand that. But, like, in this day and age, like, come on. We got to make places more accessible.
Yeah, that is... I think a lot about people with disabilities finding residential places because they need to either be in a high rise or they need to be on the first floor of a building. And it's really hard. It's so hard to find first floors in especially lane houses here in China because it's just... the people who have those houses don't want to move. They don't... I lucked out. I'm in a first floor residential building, but that's because it's overpriced, it's overmarked, and it's made specifically for people who will never be able to afford it. and I can't afford it either. So I don't know why the fuck I'm here. So, and Shanghai is
Sounds like Shanghai.
You're gonna hate the prices here when you get here. You're gonna be in Pudong, but those prices are gonna get you. They're gonna you're gonna hate it so much.
You're making it sound so tempting. I can't wait. Oh, it sounds wonderful.
So they finally get the key all the way up to the stairs, and just as they are about to slip that key under the crack.
Oh, and also, while they're doing that, during the whole time, the stepsisters are trying on the slipper. The prince is at their house, and the whole time that Jack and Gus Gus are trying to steal the key back, the stepsisters are downstairs, and the prince is having them try on the slipper. So, the clock is ticking. Because if he tries them both, and there's no other young ladies in the house, he's going to leave.
They got feet.
They got feet.
They got
big feet.
They got
some
I
big
assume
feet.
Normal feet, but they try to play it off as like these feet are disgusting and ugly and too big and too whatever. Here's the thing. Cinderella's foot.
Yeah, you said you had some interesting facts about her slipper and her feet, right?
Yeah. According to the Disney website, and according to... This is specifically from Cinderella 3, A Twist in Time.
Ooh.
I don't know if you've ever...
I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, I've seen all of the Cinderella sequels, and I gotta be honest with you. Cinderella, A Twist in Time is one of the best Disney sequels.
I'm not against direct-to-video sequels. Some of them are really good. Some direct-to-video sequels are pretty good. Aladdin especially had some good direct-to-video sequels.
Yes. Yes, it did.
Yes. The Prince of Thieves. Oh.
And The Lion King. The Lion King sequel is really good. I really like the first one, not the 1.5. I don't know what that was.
I love the 1.5, the Timon and Pumbaa story. Oh, it's so stupid. I loved it.
So in A Twist in Time, they keep talking about how small her foot is, and they measure it at some point in the movie. Her shoe size is 4.5. Women's. That's a tiny foot, right? That's a baby's foot.
That is tiny.
That's straight up that's a toddler.
That is a baby foot, literally. That is so tiny.
And so it's so weird to me that everyone's like trying to play off like this, like everyone's foot is too ugly and too gross and too big and too this and too that, when really Cinderella's foot is the one that's nasty. Cinderella...
I mean, it's not... I wouldn't say nasty just because it's tiny. What's so nasty about tiny feet?
She got freakish little baby feet. That's weird. That's so weird.
That is
okay,
weird.
That's actually terrible.
Like, imagine if like her hands were proportionate to her feet and she had like these little baby hands. Like, I don't know if you ever watched have you ever seen Saturday Night Live? And Kristen Wiig has this character, just like baby hands. And I'm like, that's all I'm thinking is like baby hands and baby
What's
feet.
her name? It's like Doris or something. And
I don't remember, but it's just so... Yeah, she has like little baby hands. Like, that is so...
in which case...
Why so small?
I don't condone body shaming at all. Obviously, everyone's bodies are different, and we should all respect and love each other's bodies in whatever way, shape,
you just said they nasty.
No, I'm serious. I'm not joking about that.
You just said her feet are the feet that are nasty.
Yeah, we have to recognize that, like, the stepsisters didn't have anything wrong with their feet.
Feet come in all shapes and sizes, all colors, and they all deserve to be loved.
Yeah, in the Brothers Grimm book, they, like, cut off their pinky toes and everything like that. Yeah.
They chop off their feet. Yeah. I think one sister cuts off like her toes, and then the other sister cuts off her heel to try to make it fit. And then the prince sees the blood, and he's like, it's a no for me, dog.
Yeah, it's just like leaky. It's like leaky and all bloody, and they're like, ugh!
You got a little blood
Get
there.
in the shed! You're leaky!
So imagine they had to take their normal size feet and cut it to 4.5. That's a lot of foot to cut off. Oh my god. And like, what did they think what did they do with the extra parts? Like, did they think the prince would not see them like lying on the floor? Like, here's your heel.
And how do you distract someone long enough to like sever a part of your body? Like, how long does it take?
Yeah.
Like, what did you use?
I'll be right back. And then you go to the kitchen and you come back limping, a trail of blood behind you.
They're like, I'll be back in a second. I just need to try it on in the other room, you know? Like, where are you going?
You think the prince not going to see that your toes are missing? Like, there's a fresh wound?
So Cinderella finally... Okay. So the mice finally get to the top of the stairs, and they run up to the door, and Lucifer traps them. And that's where Cinderella's like, oh, hell no. And she sends her birds, and the birds go get Bruno. And Bruno, his old ass, runs up them stairs, and he gets on Lucifer. And he chases Lucifer around. And the mice finally get that key to Cinderella, and Cinderella breaks free. Like that song.
Ariana Grande. This is the part
what's that
where
song?
I say I don't want it. I'm strong enough to know.
Yeah, that one. That
Yeah.
Disney song.
I love how in this movie they do talk about Bruno.
Yeah, this movie, we definitely talk about Bruno.
Some Disney dad humor for you.
Because that dog saves Cinderella, or attacks that cat,
He scares Lucifer out of the house.
and he gets the... And Cinderella rushes downstairs and is like, wait, you forgot me. And then she's like, I need to try on the shoe. But then Lady Tremaine trips... oh, God, what's that man's name?
The Grand Duke.
The Grand Duke. Trips the
Grand
Grand Duke, and the Grand Duke throws the slipper down on the ground and starts crying because he's like, oh, God, I went through all this and now it's over. And I don't know what to do with my life. And he just breaks down.
Yeah, she trips him. It falls down and the slipper breaks.
Yeah.
Shatters, just like Cinderella's hopes and dreams.
It's ridiculous because this is the Grand Duke is like crying like crazy, but the prince isn't there. He could easily be there and be like, "Oh yeah, you're the woman that I met," as opposed to being like,
you just take a look at her
as opposed
face.
to sending someone to try on a shoe all around the kingdom.
Like, wait a minute, put your hair up. Right? It would be so easy. Luckily, Cinderella reveals she has the other glass slipper.
And we're all like, yes, bitch. Yes, queen. Take that shoe out.
Yes, you better motherfucking work.
And she does. She
Take it out.
She tries on the shoe, and we get a cutaway, and they are happily married and wonderful.
And it's a perfect fit.
And she flies.
She flies?
She doesn't fly. Sorry.
You can fly, you can fly, you can fly.
And she gets into that lovely carriage. They ride away.
They get off a carriage.
And we get a cutaway
and they ride
scene
off
back to
into their honeymoon.
the fairy tale booklet.
And they lived happily ever after. The end.
Whereas in the Grimm fairy tales, she sends those birds out to pluck her sister's eyes out.
Yes. Deservedly so. I mean, they probably...
I mean, that's the level of petty that Cinderella should have been.
They already cut off their feet. They're not going to last much longer. Not in this day and age. You get an infection, you're done.
Nope. That's it. Because everything's like full of poop and mice are running around talking to people.
Yeah, and doctors are out here putting leeches on people, sucking out their blood for who knows what.
And so we get the lovely tale Cinderella, Disney's 1950 animated classic.
So I'm just going to read this off Wikipedia. So like during the early 1940s, Walt Disney Productions, they suffered financially after losing connections to the European film markets due to the outbreak of World War II. And because of that, the studio endured box office bombs, which were Pinocchio, Fantasia, and Bambi. And of course, now these movies are beloved. They've been re-released and they've made that money back. But at the time, they were box office bombs because World War II was happening. People were like, oh, I don't want to go to the movies and be happy when people are fucking dying all around the world. So by 1947, the studio was over $4 million in debt and they were on the verge of bankruptcy. So Walt Disney fought to have another animated feature. And he was actually working on 2 other movies at the same time. He was working on Peter Pan and Alice in Wonderland. But Cinderella was the one that was most completed and most close to being done. So he's like, okay, we're going to finish this and we're going to release it. And thankfully, he followed his gut because it saved them from bankruptcy.
And it saved them because in between Snow White and Cinderella, there's a variety of Disney films that are really unwell known to the public that aren't super Disney fans, right?
Yes. You're talking about the Black Cauldron?
Yeah, or the Three Caballeros. Oh my God, my Spanish is gone. Caballeros.
The Three Caballeros.
The Three Caballeros. Those...
That movie is a fever dream. Can we cover that one? I used to love that movie. And it is, watching it now, I'm like, this is an acid trip into freaking Latin America.
That film in particular, and the other film as well, they they don't, I don't know how to say this. Between Snow White and Cinderella, all of those films are so unwell known that, with the whole situation of World War II, along with like leaving the Great Depression into like new settings, Disney was really on the brink of like, well, you know what? We may have to close doors for everything because no one is watching movies, no one is doing anything.
Whew. Imagine if they did, because Disney is so engraved into popular culture now. They own pretty much everything. They own Star Wars, they own Marvel, they're everywhere. Imagine if they had closed then. The world would be a much different place. It would be a very different place.
Oh, which is definitely why, like, during that time, I don't know if you knew this, Disney was like, we're just going to put all of our eggs in one basket. And what we're going to do is we're going to invest in Cinderella and hope that this movie makes money. But we're also going to step out of animated film. And they also made Cinderella the live action version simultaneously while making the animated film. So you can find online some clips of the live action Cinderella, which is basically just the animated film, but the live version of it, done exactly with the same model and actress as the woman who played Cinderella. And they are doing it simultaneously, so they're like, if one fails, then we have the other one and hope for the best. So they put so much money into this, and they recuperated all of their losses and then some once this movie came back out. So this movie is a lot. This movie really did save the Disney company. So I know we praise Snow White for starting it all, but girl, we gotta praise Cinderella for for being the sugar daddy to Disney.
For saving Disney.
We love you, Cinderella. You did such a wonderful job. And of course, Cinderella influenced a lot of places at the Disney theme parks, most notably Disneyland.
Also, when you watch a Disney movie and like the castle that goes in the front, is that the Cinderella castle?
That's the Cinderella castle. That's Cinderella's castle at Disneyland. That is Cinderella. How do you not know this? You're from California.
I don't know. There's just so many different castles now. It's hard to know which one's where.
I know. We'll cross the castles when we get to the film, but like the first castle ever built was Cinderella's castle at Disneyland when Disneyland opened.
Wait, I have a correction. At Disneyland, the castle is the Sleeping Beauty castle.
Really? No. Who is Cinderella's castle?
Yes.
Oh, Disney World.
Yes.
Disney World is Cinderella's castle.
Disney World and Tokyo Disneyland. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. My bad. Oh, my bad.
Hey,
we'll cut that part out of me not knowing and you Disneyland.
Right, we're supposed to be the Disney experts.
Well, I guess that makes sense. Sleeping Beauty was the most action-packed and kind of intense film that Disney has to offer. And that's Cinderella. Oh, I love Cinderella. We need more Cinderella in our lives. You know what we need more of? We need more Hilary Duff in our lives. I think that's what we need.
Do we? It's already been done today. Yes, we need more Hilary Duff. That's what dreams are made of. Hilary Duff.
That's what dreams are made of. Can we have a multiverse version of Cinderella, please?
Where all the Cinderellas
Cinderella
just meet.
in the multiverse of madness, please. That's the movie that I want to see. Disney, give me Cinderella in
Hilary
the multiverse.
Duff, Brandy.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
And they all meet Camila Cabello and they just start beating her up. That's the movie that I want to see.
Yeah, beat her to death. No, have the stepmom, all the stepmoms and all the stepsisters just beat her up.
And then Julie Andrews shows up. Oh, that would be such a bomb Cinderella. That's all I'm saying. That would be such a
I would watch that.
Yeah, I would too, actually. That's what we need. Oh, that's it. That's what we're doing.
I would watch
that
movie.
In that. Cinderella and the Multiverse of Madness. Catch it only on Disney Plus.
Are you listening, Disney? Maybe they'll give us a cameo.
Oh my god! Can we be Jack and Gus? That would be we'd be so much better than James Corden. That's all I'm saying.
Oh god. Okay, I cannot stand James Corden.
That's a very popular opinion.
I do not like him. I cannot stand him. I don't think he's funny. I don't think he's talented. I just do not like him.
You're so rude.
Well, I would tell him to go back to the UK, but they don't want him there either.
Yeah, they do not like James Corden in the UK. I do not know why. They hate him that much.
I mean, just look at him. He just has a very punchable face. He just always looks so smug.
Is it because he plays a gay man so well? Is that why? Is that the reason why you want to punch James Corden?
Oh my god. In that really bad prom musical.
Cam, what are we talking about next week?
Next week we are doing Sleeping Beauty. Another classic Disney animated film.
I love Sleeping Beauty. I can't wait to talk about all of the wonderful fashion, the best drag queen in the world, Maleficent.
One of the most iconic Disney villains. Absolutely. I mean, she can turn into a freaking dragon.
That's right. If we were to rank the best drag queen amongst Disney villains, it would be Scar. That's right. So we're going to talk about Maleficent. We're going to talk about the lovely fairies. And we're going to talk about the best grudge that was ever held in Disney history.
Literally, she petty. She must be a drag queen.
Maleficent is the level of petty that I want to be when I grow up. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely. One of the most iconic Disney villains, for sure.
And of course, follow us on all socials at Your Bare Necessities. That's URBEAR and Necessities on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And don't forget, we have our in-house potions master, Sean, who creates specialty drinks based on our movie of the week. So follow us on all of our socials to keep up to date.
Okay, I'm Cam.
And I'm Jio. And we're your bare necessities.
We gotta be in sync. Okay, let's try it one more time. Okay.
It's hard to do it on the lag, but I think we got it.
I'm Cam.
And I'm Jio.
And we're your bare necessities.
Why is that so hard for you? I don't even know what
for
to do
me.
with that.
What do you mean? You're the one coming in late.